has some certs already that's big going in, that'll help you, and then we'll help you get the rest. Part of that Microsoft partnership, you get a lot of free learning tools and content. So once you're in, if you want to specialize in a certain thing, virtualization, data center build outs, design, all the learning material is going to be provided to you. All right, so what's in it for you? So we'll go through these slides, and what I'd like to do here is kind of give you what my background, what my experience is with, and also with Daniel, so that you can hear what's actually happening out there once you graduate and get into the workforce. All right, so this one's our skill levels. Like I said, I'm considered a systems engineer. Basically, that's technology infrastructure, server build out. You want to talk about Steve?
Yeah. So a solutions developer, they would be the guys that come in after the base has already been created. We would go in and configure. We would configure the .NET framework, and we'd make a project with that. I'll just give you an example of the technology we're working on my current project. We're using the .NET framework, C#, ASP.NET, IIS, XSL, XML, MSMQ, SQL, BizTalk, and SharePoint. So you can see that there are a bunch of different parts that we have to get working all together. And I don't know if you've ever had two different programs, but sometimes they don't always work together. So that's what we come in to do. And then here you have program managers, which they're experienced professionals. They have technical backgrounds, and these are the guys that come in and they deliver the project. They work directly with the customer to determine what their needs are, and then they're kind of a go-between between the customer and the team, which would be the developers.
Yeah, so let me just add a couple things here. I mean, there's CAs. This is mostly coming from the business program. Not too many people in the engineering side are becoming PAs, so don't want to touch on that too much. Two things though, program managers. Program managers and SDs and SCs, we're heavily involved in the Avanade methodologies. So what we learned from Accenture is you want to have a repeatable process where you can run through a project. You can get faced with all kinds of situations with the customer wants. And the only way we've seen a success is you have a process and a framework to plan your project, analyze how to do it, build it out, test it, and then implement it. So we have a very structured way we run projects, and what you'll see is we'll be able to finish on time and customer satisfaction. On the other note here on SEs, and Daniel did a good job of showing his examples of what projects he did. So just to give you background of what kind of projects I've been involved in. One of my first projects with Avanade, did a complete greenfield deployment for a brand new company. Basically, this energy company based in Louisiana wanted to spin off their nuclear division. So we had a lot of funding. We created a complete infrastructure from scratch. It was all virtualized using Hyper-V. It was all failover clustering, high availability. It was in 3 data centers in Virginia. The headquarters was in Jackson, Mississippi, and we worked out of Louisiana. So you get a very stretched out area where you have to work. Some other projects I've done is more data center build outs for companies. I've done mail migrations for some hospitals. So they were on GroupWise or Lotus Notes, and you'll see that a lot of companies are going to Exchange, and now a lot of companies are going to the cloud. So that would be Office 365. So migrating them over from the old to the new system takes a lot of planning and logistics with the users. And then the other big thing is Windows deployment, systems management. So you have SMS up there, which is now SCCM. The latest one is SCCM 2012. You get to manage basically how do you manage 20,000 computers with a team of 10 people? So you go and you try to design that out and make it so it's operationally efficient. All right, so here is our hierarchy of positions. I started off as a consultant. I came from the industry. Usually as a college hire, you'll start off as an analyst. And we had the Ignite program, or Ignition program, where you come in, it's basically a jump start into consulting. teaches you how to consult, how to talk to customers, interface, and also teaches you how to solve problems that you'll deal with on a day-to-day basis. So as you progress in your career, you get to these different levels. I'm currently a group manager. And the thing I want to talk about here is no matter where you are on the org chart, especially on the VP down to this level right here, there's no sense of real hierarchy. I can ping the VP on a daily basis and just ask him questions, or other directors. And the great thing is, sometimes I'll say someone who's at analyst level, but I know he's good at what he does. I can reach out to him and hold a conversation and see what's going on there, or get his help. So, plenty of opportunities to learn. And you want to talk about?
Yeah. And I came in. I'm at this level right now, very bottom of it. But it's like you said, I talked to people up in the senior director range. I actually built a project for one of our senior directors. So it's a really tight-knit company. Everybody's really there to help you and to help you grow. And I loved every minute of it. It's been great.
Another good thing about Avanade is we have our communities. It's basically an email form, so you can pose questions, and VPs will pose a question saying, "Has anyone had experience?" And you'll see anybody would reply and say, "Yes, I've done this for this customer," or "Yes, I've done this on my own time." And there's a lot of cross-group collaboration, even though you're in totally different sides of the states, working on completely different types of projects. Open lines of communication. All right, this slide here shows how we show our passion for technology. We're usually since we have that partnership with Microsoft, we're usually one of the first ones to implement a new technology. We're one of the first to use Exchange 2010, one of the first to roll out Microsoft Link, and right now we're alpha testing SCCM 2012. These acronyms don't mean anything to you. If you have questions about it, let me know. So training certification, like I said earlier, we're really big on training and really big on certifications, making sure you have that. So when you go to a customer site, you have all the information you need to present or back up what you're telling them as a solution. One of the great things about Avanade is they really want you to put in time to train. Even though you're really busy on projects, they'll count your hours. They'll set time aside so that you make sure you get some training in. At least, I think it's 20 years, or 20 hours? 20 hours a year right now. 20 hours. Do you want to talk about your training background?
Yeah, sure. I came on Avanade. There weren't any projects ready for me, so I sat on the bench. And Avanade is one of the companies that actually pays for your training while you're on the bench and you're not on an active project. Not many companies will do that for you. They're not going to pay for you on their time to learn more information. And one of the big things I found is that Avanade pays for Microsoft certifications. So if you've ever taken a certification test, those are $150 a piece. So and Avanade pays for that, which is a really big incentive.
Yeah, so the bench is a consulting term when you're in between projects. You're not working on a specific project. You can use that time for training, getting caught up with all your other previous project work. Speaking of which, project-based work. In consulting, it's 95% project work. You're basically on one project or another. Sometimes you're on two at the same time when you're not supposed to. Makes it very challenging, but you'll get to meet and be in all places. One of the things within Avanade, if you're in technology infrastructure, you'll be traveling 75% of the time. And there's chances that a lot of y'all, if you're based in Houston, that you can get onto the Houston project because there's a significant business here. A lot of oil and gas companies is looking for help, and so they'll come to Avanade, they'll come to Accenture, they'll come to Microsoft to help them. And with our partnership, Accenture and Microsoft will hand off some of the projects to Avanade if you don't find it directly. So a lot of opportunities and well connected in those companies here locally and all over.
I just wanted to say something on here. Right now, I'm working on a project where it says innovative technologies. I'm working with, we're doing BizTalk and SharePoint, which BizTalk, it's not really innovative in the fact that it's been around since 2000. But SharePoint, it's been around for a while, but it's really starting to gain force now. And I didn't know SharePoint whenever I first came on this project. I did a little bit in training, but now they're ramping up the entire team. I actually did a training. I actually trained people in SharePoint last week after I had trained on it a few weeks before. So it's, in this business, we move really fast with training, and whenever you have that knowledge, you share that knowledge with the other people in your team so that you can all come up as a group. And on the experienced team members here, I'm actually, on my team, I have a guy who worked with Microsoft for 11 years. So it's good to have that, you know, the insight. Too much jeopardy.
But one thing I want to talk about is, you know, right now I'm very focused, concentrated on Microsoft technologies. But what I learned in this program, the CET program, you have different avenues, right? You can work for companies where you can continue your circuit board design, circuit, you know, things like that. I stay in touch with the IEEE members that were part of the club. I stay in touch with my classmates as well. Sometimes we help each other get jobs where we're at. So, you know, use this community, you know, make a lot of friends. I know the last 2 years especially, we'll be in a lot of classes together. You know, use that network going forward. And you'll make a lot more friends in wherever you work at, but stay in touch and, you know, keep your ears out for what's available. One thing I wanted to do when I found out we were hiring in Leeson was reach out to Lisa and find out how can I help, you know, the community that helped me out. So glad I got this opportunity to speak to y'all. Hope you can take some of it away. Hopefully some of you can submit your resumes. And you know, I know, how many seniors do we have?
Okay, so here's what we look for. These are the main things. And to Andrew's point, and the fact that we definitely look for students who have not only come from a top-notch program that I'm learning more and more about, and I will tell you that we have recruited and have had very good success at University of Houston. What we look for is that student who goes above and beyond. We look for that candidate who gets themselves involved in things. We are not a hand-holding company. We are a consulting company, and we're looking for you to have the skills to be able to present yourself confidently and to be able to talk about technology with the passion that we embrace as a company. As they've told you, we are a company that continues to support you expanding and improving upon your skills. So we look for that candidate that has been involved with an industry, that has had internships, that has been involved with student organizations. If you're a participating member of an organization, we're going to ask you and look for, you know, did you have any work experience while you were in school? We're not looking for that student who's just sitting in class. We're looking for that student who is seeking out those major opportunities. Some of the things that, number one thing is that passion for technology. I would often ask you during an interview if you would describe yourself as a technology geek. If you're one of those people, I would like to talk to you. If you have a passion for working with people, some technology individuals would just like to focus in on their computer, do the job, and they really don't want to have the interaction with the client. We're not looking for that person. We're looking for those people that are comfortable in sitting in front of people and explaining your technology passion to them in a language in which they can understand it. Love of learning, you've heard us over and over and over talk about the fact that we're going to not only give you the time to get trained, but we're also going to help you with the expense of doing that and picking up those certifications. A willingness to travel. Like Andrew said, we are growing significantly in Houston. We have a significant